Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. So, this is my very first recording. So, bear with me as I explore this little avenue and branch out a little bit. So, I thought I would start off this series or this channel by just telling you guys all a little bit more about myself and my journey that led me to coaching ultimately. So, some of you, if you know me, have probably heard bits and pieces or all of this story, and if not, then you haven't. So, here we go. So, I am, at this point, a 39-year-old mother of two. I have two daughters. They are almost 14 and 10, going on 11. Can't believe they're that old. And I was born and raised in Indianapolis, Indiana, and moved to San Diego, California 2 years ago with my husband and our daughters and our dogs. So now I live in San Diego. So how did I get to where I am today? So those of you that don't know, I am a certified triathlon coach through USAT and Ironman Foundation. And I am also a certified personal trainer. And I also have a master's in social work and my license in clinical social work, which was like my master's degree that I went to school for. And so that are all my certifications. And that probably, it looks good on paper. Well, what does it all mean? So my journey in fitness and triathlon started a long time ago, but I am not, as you probably know, I am not a professional triathlete. I am not a professional athlete, and I'm kind of average, I guess. I'm a mom, and I have grown my passion through this sport and have landed here to help others. So back in my childhood, I did not grow up an athlete. Everybody that meets me and talks to me assumes that I was an athlete growing up, and I wasn't. I did try sports. I dabbled a little bit. I played Little League softball. I took swim lessons. I joined the track team in 8th grade and had a short little stint in 8th grade track, and carried into my freshman year of high school and fell during practice conditioning before actually tryouts had started, twisted my ankle and decided I wasn't going to continue at that point. So, and that was literally the end of sports for Mandy as a child, as a little kid. However, there's a lot more into that story. Long story short, I was, struggled with a lot of self-confidence growing up. I'm only 5'1", and I was fairly on the heavier set side as a kid. Not obese by any means, but definitely overweight. And I struggled most importantly, I struggled a lot with my self-confidence. And you wouldn't know it if you know me now, but I was extremely shy. I would sit in class in school, in high school, and listen to people talk and not talk to them because I was so nervous. And it was hard for me to keep good friends. I just was really insecure. So I didn't have a really healthy relationship with myself or my body, and just struggled with confidence overall. Went to college, thought I wanted to be a veterinarian for a very, very long time, and kind of hit rock bottom my sophomore year at Purdue. My boyfriend, who is now my husband, had invited me to be his date to a formal dance for his fraternity. And I had bought a dress, and a couple weeks later, I went to try it on for the event, and I couldn't zip up the dress. I had gained so much weight, and I don't even really know how much at that point, that I couldn't zip my dress up. And my roommate was trying to help me, and it was a disaster. I realized at that point that I had let myself turn to food to try to cope with my insecurities and my self-doubt and my feelings, and did not was not leaning towards healthy coping skills. So started figuring things out, went to my mom and my dad and my husband, well, my boyfriend at the time, and said, I think I want to get healthy, but I want to do it the right way. I don't want to do it the unhealthy way. And they all agreed to help me. And so I started exercising, and I'll never forget the first day. I didn't really know what to do, to be honest with you. And my boyfriend said, hey, well, why don't we go for a run? He was in shape. He liked to work out. So I had no clothes, by the way, that fit me that were like stretchy. So I put on some black Express pants. Those of you who are from the 90s and remember Express black stretchy pants. I mean, they are not meant for running, but that was all I had. And I put those on and we went outside and I started jogging. I think he was walking quickly, and I made it about a block before I had to stop to catch my breath. It hurt. Everything hurt. Like literally, I think my hair hurt. It was really embarrassing and hard. And he was so supportive, and he didn't make fun of me. He didn't tell me to suck it up. He just encouraged me and said, good job. Let's walk a little further. Let's keep walking. So as time went on, I kept it up, and I kept going to the gym, and I would do the elliptical machine and random things, and I started losing weight. And over the years of the next couple years in college, I lost weight. I felt so much better about myself. Confidence came out. The Mandy personality that those of you may know now had started to come out. I was much more confident and friendly, and was much more secure in my ability that I was worth being friends with. And my senior year of college, my roommate and one of my best friends at the time asked me if I wanted to run a half marathon with her. And I laughed. I said, this is funny. I can't run a half marathon. She said, let's do it. Now, she was a soccer player and softball player and volleyball player and everything else player. But I decided I would do it. So I signed up for the Indianapolis mini marathon, and I printed off a schedule online, and I talked my boyfriend, now husband, into doing it with me, and she and my roommate at the time, Amber, did it with me, and we trained together. And we followed this cookie cutter plan on the internet, and we did all the runs on the plan, and we did our long runs together on Saturday mornings, and we kept each other accountable. The three of us wouldn't go out on Friday nights. We'd stay in and watch movies while the rest of our 21-year-old friends went out. And we trained our senior year of college. In May of 2004 is when I graduated from college. We ran the mini, and I finished. And it was painful, and I had to walk some of it, but I finished. And I remember crossing that finish line, and it was the most exciting feeling. And I looked at Jerry and I said, I am never running a marathon. Joke's on me. And it started right then. And I kind of became obsessed, not with running uncontrollably, but just with learning. And I realized like how different I felt from getting involved in running at the time. And I started reading everything and delve in. From there, I ran a half marathon every year, and I got better and faster just by kind of doing my own thing. And I got certified as a personal trainer and started working in a gym and started helping others to get healthy and realize that they were worth taking care of themselves. And that lasted for a long time. As we got married and I had my first daughter, I was still running. I was still personal training. I had clients at the gym, and I would coach clients at their house. In my house, after I had Bella, I taught stroller fitness classes. I got certified in like every fitness class that you can think of, kickboxing and body pump and insanity. And I was doing all the things fitness related. Worked out throughout my pregnancies, dabbled in Beachbody, the home workout system. I did coaching through there for a little while, and took a big giant leap when my girls were really little, and owned a fitness studio for a little while with some friends, and taught and trained and coached. Fast forward, I met my triathlon coach at a soccer game that my daughter and her daughter were playing on the same team. And I saw her sitting there. She had an Ironman shirt on. And I said, oh, Ironman, that's that real big triathlon. And we chatted as friends for several months. And then I was talking to her and told her how I ran the mini again that year. And I had a different coach at the time. And I had finally beat that 2-hour mark for a half marathon, but I really still just considered myself like an average runner, but a decent like fit person because of all these fitness classes I taught and everything. And I had she didn't know this at the time, but I had thought about doing a sprint triathlon my whole life. I was a lifeguard in high school at the local community pool. And so I knew how to swim, not competitively. I never swam competitively, but I liked swimming. And so I asked her, I said, do you think you would ever maybe consider, help me think about a triathlon, or maybe like if I ever wanted to run a full marathon, you could help me and coach me. And she said, yeah. And she had done Ironmans. She had done Boston several times. She'd been to Kona. And so a relationship began. And I started working with her, Cindy, from Fitness Lab in Indianapolis, Indiana. Yay, they are my people. And she trained me through my first marathon and got me to the start line of my first triathlon, borrowed her bike, her shoes, her kit. I didn't even have a road bike. And she taught me how to clip in, clip out, everything. And the first swim I did in open water, it was in a lake, in a sprint triathlon and Go Girl triathlon. Never swam in open water before. That was crazy. You jump in, everything's green. Wouldn't recommend that being your first open water swimming experience, by the way, before, like during a race. But in Indiana, we didn't have a lot of open water experiences. So I did that and I was hooked. I loved it and I wanted to do more. I had a lot of work to do, but I wanted to do more. So the journey continued. I've always been very coachable. I became a very involved athlete. I wanted to learn. I soaked it all up. I told her immediately, I want to do a 70.3. I want to do a marathon, and then I want to do a faster marathon. And I did a marathon. I did another marathon. I did several 70.3s, and I did an Ironman. And I will say I never thought that I would be faster than a 2-hour half marathoner. I never thought I'd be a sub-4 marathoner. And I definitely never thought I'd be a Boston qualifier. And I haven't done it yet, but I'm on my way. I've had some injuries and there was the COVID pandemic. So that was a long story, but it led me to where I am today. As I moved to San Diego, I've met some of the most amazing humans and athletes I've ever known. And my open water swimming ability is just at another level than it used to be. I swim every day. Well, not every day, 2 to 3 times a week, on average. And there's people everywhere that do what I do. And, somebody asked me one day, you're a wonderful coach. And I wasn't even certified as a triathlon coach yet. And here I am. I've realized that my background in, my journey through my struggles and just being a mom and a busy mom, a working mom, and my background in mental health as a psychotherapist and my clinical social work background, and the fact that I understand the balance that it takes for anyone to do this sport and the difference it can make in your life when you open your eyes to the beauty in the community. It can be amazing things. And I also wanted to coach others because I wanted others to be able to see themselves the way I can see them, the way that I couldn't see myself before I started. And I can now see myself doing those things that I never thought I'd be able to do. And that is an amazing thing to be able to call yourself an athlete and believe it. And I'm finally there. So with coaching, I hope that, I strive with every one of my clients to help them see the athlete that's there, that's already there, that's working. And I have athletes from super beginners that don't even have a bike to those that have done several Ironmans. They may be more decorated than I am, but I can still help them. I read, I learn, I listen, I continue my education every day. And that's how we help people get better and stay safe and enjoy the journey. Thank you. Oh, also, since this is my first recording, please leave in the comments anything that you may be interested in hearing or learning about. Every episode will not just be me talking, I promise. So if there's something that you would like to see on throughout this, this journey, this podcast, this YouTube, whatever, let me know. Someone you'd like to like interview or a topic, anything, let me know. And so we can create more content. Thanks, guys.